This is Smooth Health on the Drive.
Okay, sir. We're ready now. Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. If you just joined us, you are just in time. We've got a very special guest in the studio. We're talking all about health, and we'd love for you to be a part of our conversation on the show. We're talking about the role of medical imaging and or rather the role of medical imaging in medicine. And I was just talking to the good doctor about MRIs and movies, amongst other things. But to be a part of our conversation, reach out to us on 0809 444 0981. That's for WhatsApp. If you want to call the studio lines, call the number 0809 444 0981.
Remember that we're streaming live on YouTube. So go on to YouTube now and check us out there. It's www.youtube.com/smooth981fm. Make sure to click the notification button and of course to subscribe as well. Our doctor today is Dr. Ibikun Abidoye. He's a senior consultant radiologist at Evercare Hospital. Dr. Ibikun is a vibrant general radiologist with specialization in advanced cardiovascular imaging. He's also a fellow of West African College of Surgeons, fellow Medical College of Radiology, fellow European School of Radiology, member of the Royal College of Radiology, member of the European Society of Cardiovascular Radiology, and member of European Society of Radiology.
Titles.
He's an award recipient of the Radiology Service Provider of the Year by Nigeria Healthcare Excellence Award 2018 as the HOD and only consultant radiologist of Harmony Advanced Diagnostic Center, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. His interest in cardiovascular radiology spiraled on an upward trend when he won a scholarship by the European School of Radiology to train in cardiovascular radiology in Germany. He later had a certificate in advanced cardiac CT at the University of Hong Kong online, and he has contributed immensely to cardiovascular imaging in Nigeria and became the pioneering secretary of the Society for Cardiovascular Imaging in Nigeria. And so today we'll be talking about the role of medical imaging in medicine. Doctor, quite the CV. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Like we mentioned, just reach out to us if you've got questions for Dr. Ibukun Abidoye. All right. That's it. Let's jump right into it, shall we? So the first question I'd like to ask you is, who is a radiologist? And also, what are your areas or what are your focus areas in your specialty?
Thank you very much for the question and thank you for the kind introduction.
You're welcome.
To start with, I remember the first time my son asked me that, do I deal with radio? Why am I a radiologist? And general perception of the public when they hear radiologist or anything that deals with radiology, they think of X-ray. Now, let me now break it down a little bit for people to get a good perspective of who a radiologist is. A radiologist is a medical doctor. That means you go to medical school to become a doctor. Then afterwards, you can decide to work for a while or just go back to residency to study radiology. So that means you do residency for another 5 or 6 years to become a radiologist. So basically, a radiologist is a doctor, a medical doctor that specializes in radiology.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
So what is medical imaging and its role in medicine?
All right. When we say medical imaging, what we basically means is that the processes and techniques whereby we use some machines or some technology to image body parts. When I say body parts, ranging from the head to the toe, any part of the body. So what we do basically is to get the internal organs of the body without opening the patient. So we are like the eye of medicine. We see into the unseen. Our colleague calls us the shadow doctors. We look at shadows to make diagnosis, to make impressions about patient. Now, the role basically is for diagnosis. But radiology is not just about diagnosis only. There's an aspect of radiology that deals with intervention. But I'm not going to go into that. We're just going to focus mainly on the diagnosis part as we go on. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Let's talk about the benefits of medical imaging for patients. Okay, so a lot of people, would ask, why would I need to go through all of that process? What are the benefits? What do I get out of it? So, in your opinion, as the expert, what would you say are the benefits of medical imaging for patients?
Okay, like I said initially, most patients, when they think of radiology, they think about X-ray, and they think everything we do is only X-ray. Now, X-ray is just one of the things we do. But let me answer the question straight before I go into that. Basically, the benefit to the patient is so enormous in the sense that when a patient comes to the hospital, it's so very important for the doctor to make an accurate diagnosis of the patient's condition so as to be able to treat the patient adequately. Now, if an accurate diagnosis is not made, then you definitely not get a good treatment. So what we do as radiologists is to help the doctors to make this diagnosis. And for the patient, the benefit is, like I said, is so enormous. When you know the cause of your symptoms, you'll be able to treat it right from the cause. Now, what people do outside is just to treat symptoms. When you treat symptoms, you're not helping the patient because such a patient is going to come back and over and over. But when you go to the root cause of what is causing the disease entity, then it's easy for you to address it and to nip it at the bud.
All right. Don't forget, if you just joined us, by the way, this is Smooth 98.1. Smooth Health is what you're listening to, and we have a very special guest in the studio. We're having conversations about the role of medical imaging in medicine. And of course, our doctor today is Dr. Ibukun Abidoye. Now, you can call the studio to be a part of our conversation. We're giving vouchers to the first three callers or texters, and you can call the number 014489 if you've got questions for Dr. Ibukun, or just send us a WhatsApp message. Send that message to 0809 444
All right. So tell us a bit about, some of your experiences of giving a positive or negative feedback after a medical imaging diagnosis.
Okay, I'm going to address it in twofold. Now, from the side of the patient, now I'll give you a practical example. Imagine a woman comes to you, a pregnant woman, and says, doctor, I can't feel my baby. I think there's something wrong. My baby is not moving. And there's this jitteriness, it's not easy for anybody to carry pregnancy. And you would see the joy when we do ultrasound scan for them. And we tell you, wow, mother, your baby is doing great. Everything is perfect. In fact, what we also do is we show them directly. We show them the heartbeat. We show them the movement. Seeing all this, you need to see the expression on the mother's face. That's that sense of, oh, thank God my baby is alive. And also on the side of our colleagues, the doctors, it's so important that they make the right diagnosis, like I said. And, when you make the right diagnosis for them, it makes their work easy to do. They treat the patient adequately. And at the end of the day, they are happy because they are getting good results. So we get a lot of positive feedbacks from them. Of course, for the negative feedback, there's nothing that does not have the negative side. Now, the negative side is not so much because we try as much as possible to minimize it. And the reason, especially in Evercare, what we do, we actually engage ourselves in what is called a multidisciplinary team, like a committee of doctors coming together to rattle on a patient's case. Because it's not in all cases are diagnosis straightforward. Some diagnoses are a little bit technical. So when we put our heads together as experts, then we'll be able to give the right diagnosis to the patient. So we minimize the negative feedbacks as much as possible.
All right. Thank you so much for that, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's talk about hazards, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of people out there will be wondering, okay, so it sounds really good. It sounds very smooth, right? But are there any health hazards from the exposure to medical imaging? Because, sometimes we watch movies, right? We see all these things.
Radioactive
We hear all these
rays.
radioactive rays. We hear all of those stories. So we'd like to know, how can this be protected? In terms of the hazards, the exposures amongst other things, how can people be protected?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to talk about two basic imaging modality that the hazards are well known. Number one, X-ray. Now, of course, the dose of X-ray. X-ray is a radiant energy. For the people at home, it's just a form of energy that uses ionizing radiation. And anything that is ionizing means that it can interact with the body tissue. So for the one that we use in X-ray range, it's not so harmful to the patient. And of course, we also try as much as possible to justify the reason why we do it. But the one that has a lot of radiation is the CT, computed tomography. Now, of course, another thing that we consider before we even image any patient is before we do any imaging, is there a need for this? Because we have to justify the reason why the patient is doing it, not just because, oh, I need to do this. So when we do it, we also try as much as possible to keep the dose as low as possible. And we protect vital organs because we don't want to unnecessarily expose the patient. So if you come to Evercare, for example, you will notice that some parts will be shielded because we don't want the X-ray to get there. Now, for MRI, which is magnetic resonance imaging, now that one uses magnetic energy and a little bit of radio frequency to produce image of the body part. Now, for that, what we usually do is we take precaution. Now, not everybody can just go in for an MRI. And there's usually a checklist that we go through before a patient can do the MRI. Number one, MRI, if you have any metallic implants in you that are not compatible with MRI, you can't do it because of the hazard. So what we do first is to make sure we ask you questions about any recent surgery, if there have been any implants in you or whatever you have on your body. Not just that we rely on those questions, we also have a metal detector that we put around the patient to be sure that, okay, good, there's nothing harmful or there's no ferromagnetic. I mean, there's nothing like a metal that can be attracted by magnets. And also, before we put the patient on the gantry, we cross-check again and ask, please, we know we've asked, but we really need to ask you again, do you have any metal implant and all that? So when we do all this, we minimize it to the very barest minimum, the hazard.
All right.
All right. You can still join the conversation. Send us a WhatsApp message to 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. You can also stream us live. We're on YouTube. Go on there and check us out on www.youtube.com/smooth981fm. Make sure to click the notification button, okay, and subscribe if you can, so you can catch us when we stream live. All right.
Got a few messages here. Everyone's really talking about your intimidating CVs. But Damilala says, let's see now. Okay. BB,
Oh, okay. Oh, well, they're just all talking about the
Everyone's talking about your
conversation.
conversation,
You can
so-
send your questions to 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. Call us up on the studio on 01 448 9981. We have with us in the studio Dr. Abidoye, and we're talking about medical imaging and, of course, its benefits in the just in medicine as well. The role of medical imaging in medicine. We'll take a break at this point, right?
Yes, let's go on a quick break.
When we come back on the other side, we're going to take your questions, your calls, and you can continue the conversation. This is Smooth Health. Stay with us.
This is Smooth Health on the Drive.
It's a global observation that helps raise people's
Smooth
awareness.
Health is powered by Evercare Hospital, Lekki, transforming healthcare in Nigeria.
Wanna play a game?
Yes.
When it's game time, it's fun time. And when it's fun time, it's kids time because kids think the darnest things.
Because it's not magic.
Like inventing the future time machine or flying to the moon with just a cape on.
So I could discover new lands.
The Smooth 98.1 Studios presents Curious Minds as we explore the wonder world of today's kids.
I want to be an astronaut, serial designer, fortune teller, an entrepreneur.
Hear what they hear, see what they see, and know what they know.
A something majinga.
Curious Minds, every Saturday from 8:40 a.m.
That's all, folks.
This is Smooth Health on the Drive.
It's a global observation that helps raise people's
Smooth
awareness.
Health is powered by Evercare Hospital, Lekki, transforming healthcare in Nigeria.
You ready? That's right. You're welcome back. If you just joined us, where have you been? This is Smooth Health on the Drive. And of course, today we're talking all about radiology, amongst other things. And we'd love for you to be a part of our conversation. We have a very special guest in the studio today. He's talking about the role of medical imaging in medicine. And so far, we've talked about, medical imaging as it is. We've talked about the benefits for, patients, amongst other things. We also talked about the hazards that are involved. And we would love you to add your 2 cents. And by that, we mean you should call the number 08094489981, or just send us a WhatsApp message to 080944400981. We got a message earlier from Damilola from Aja.
And it goes, does radiology have a section that helps check radiation levels in patients? That's from Damilola there. We have more messages. This is Matthew Afolabi. It goes, the University of Lagos changed the name of a department from radiology to radiography. Is a radiographer the same as a radiologist? That's what he's asking. We have a caller here. Oh, we lost you there. Call us up on 014489981. Again, 014489981. Doctor.
All right, thank you for the question, Damilala. Now, as regard the radiation level, measurement of radiation level in patients, the dose of radiation that patients are exposed to are very minimal. And of course, since they are not exposed to it continuously, there is actually no need for monitoring it in them. Now, it's actually the health provider that we do monitor their radiation level. Why? Because we are always in the radiation zone every day. So we have our radiation badges on, and there's a particular threshold that once it's above that threshold, then we have some protective and some corrective measures to take. So for patients, generally, there's no worries since you do it only occasionally, okay? Then the next caller asks about the difference between...
Just before you answer that, let's quickly see what this person has to say. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah.
good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name, please, and where you're calling us from.
Tayo here from Ife.
Your name is?
Where,
Yeah.
From where?
Ife.
Ileife.
Yeah, I'm watching this one.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're on
All
the
right, on the
YouTube
YouTube.
Live.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, on YouTube. Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, okay. So, I'd just like to ask Dr. Ibukma video. That was a great talk. Made the radiology so simple. But looking at the discipline, what's the future? I mean, I work in a university, so I really want to know and how to guide students on what is the future of radiology, especially in Nigeria, and what does it think? Would you advise anyone going into radiology now? Then I also want to like to ask a personal one: why did they go into radiology?
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Ayo.
so much, Mr. Ayo, for that call there.
Doctor?
All right, thank you, Mr. Tayo Oweye. Before I answer your question, I think I have a question I need to answer before that. Okay, somebody asked that what's the difference between a radiographer and a radiologist? Now, like I said initially at the start of this, that a radiologist is a medical doctor. That means you would have finished your medical degree before specializing in the field of radiology. Now, radiographer are, should I say, they are like imaging scientists. They also go to university to study a branch of field called radiography. Now, what they do basically for us, they are the ones saddled with the responsibility of acquiring the images for us. So they acquire the images and they send it to us, and we interpret the image. So we work together in the department. So when you come to a radiology department, you'll definitely meet a radiographer, and you also meet a radiologist.
All right.
Nice. I think we lost you there. There was a caller now. You can call us back on 014489981. Again, 014489981. Doctor, the other
Okay, for the other question,
yes.
the future of radiology in Nigeria. Yes, every day we keep seeing massive progress in radiology in Nigeria. Before in Nigeria, you could count how many places you have MRI in Nigeria. But now, even in Lagos, you would probably lost count. We have a lot of centers with MRI. We have a lot of centers with CT. So the future of radiology in Nigeria is so promising. Okay. Then you asked that if you want to guide students, how will you guide? Of course, radiology is a very interesting field to study, especially people that like computers. When you like to stay behind the screen. One thing about us is people usually say that we are always behind the screen from morning till evening, and we don't get tired because it's so interesting. Putting shadows together to make sense, it's so fulfilling. So I would encourage people that want to study radiology to come into it. It's so interesting, especially when you love images, when you love playing with screen. We love tweaking images a lot. We can get whatever plane of image you want to get, and it's so interesting.
All right.
All right.
Like we mentioned, you can call us. We see the phone lines buzzing, but we're going to get to those messages now. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening. How you doing?
Very well.
All right, your name, ma'am?
I'm Yetunde.
Yetunde, can you turn down the volume of your radio set, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on it.
Where are you calling from, Yetunde?
I'm calling from Lekki, Lagos.
All right,
All right, go
Yetunde,
on
you
with
have
your
a question for our doctor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Ibukun, such a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very
I
much.
would like to ask, I have a patient that had issue with, well, the doctors were trying to look at his colon, maybe there is cancer or whatsoever, and they advise him to go for endoscopy. They is scared. Would you advise the patient to, will MRI achieve what endoscopy will achieve?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. To start with, endoscopy on its own, it's a very safe procedure to go, but it's not in the purview of radiology. However, we also have something that can give us exactly what endoscopy will give us in radiology, and it's actually called CT colonoscopy. So it's actually using CT to also produce something that will look like the colonoscopy that is done in endoscopy. But ours is now like a virtual colonoscopy. Now, you asked about the MRI. MRI too can give very good image of the colon, but for us in radiology, our first line will be a CT colonoscopy before we say we want to do MRI. So if I'm supposed to answer your question correctly, I would say it's advisable such a patient should go for a CT colonoscopy. Thank you.
Doctor, so just to ask and just to, because when it comes to diagnosis, she was complaining about, she was worried about whether doing an endoscopy or just doing CT. But does every process of diagnostics require medical imaging?
Definitely not every. In fact, there are a couple of illnesses that would definitely not require radiological imaging. Let me give, for example, malaria, simple malaria. You don't need imaging. But of course, when complication sets in, then imaging has to come into place. Now, we live in an endemic area where everybody has malaria almost every now and then. But somebody having malaria and is almost unconscious, we need to check the brain and what is happening in the brain. Is the malaria affecting the brain? So that is where radiology comes in. So even though we probably might not be involved in the initial assessment of such illnesses, but if it is not well managed, at one point or the other, radiology has to come in so as to allay fears.
All right.
Doctor, would you advise that, sorry to cut you there, but would you advise, like, for when it comes to like yearly checkups, that one should always go for medical imaging? Would
It
you
is
advise
so very important that you do that. Now, the reason is because part of the things we do in radiology is screening. We detect early disease before it becomes something not manageable. Now, let me give you an example. For instance, breast cancer. You don't have to wait until you feel a lump in your breast before you know you have a breast cancer. We could just do a screening for you, and all we see is some tiny dot that we can say, wow, this
do a
patient is most
biopsy.
likely to have a breast cancer. So radiology is so important in screening. So I encourage everybody to come for yearly screening. Of course, we have such packages at Evercare. So once you visit us, you will definitely see all that.
All right, we have a caller here. Let's see who
Hello,
this is.
good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hi,
evening.
good evening. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Good evening, everyone. Dr. K. Judith. My name
Hey.
is Damola from Aja.
Damilola from Aja. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Uh,
Go on with your question, Damilola.
Okay, so doctor, I want to ask, are there certain ailments that radiology is used to check the progress if the person is getting better or person is getting worse? And are there side effects if someone keeps coming for this?
All right. Damilola, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate you there. Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Damilola. You're very correct. Part of things we do in radiology is also to check for progress of treatment. If a patient comes for is down with a particular disease and treatment is started on such a patient, then such a patient will need to visit radiology frequently to monitor the progress if it is getting better or getting worse. Now, what we do in radiology is also we also determine what imaging modality that is best for you at that time and that will not expose you unduly. Now, for instance, if a patient comes with maybe something like a mass in the abdomen and we did a CT, I initially told us CT has radiation and can affect the body part. But when you come for follow-up, you might not necessarily use CT to follow you up every other time. We have some other imaging modality like ultrasound. Ultrasound uses sound energy. There's no known adverse effect to ultrasound. So you could do your ultrasound as often as you can. Of course, when we also have the need to switch over to CT, we also do that because what we also do is to weigh the benefit versus the risk. So if the benefit at that point in time is that, oh, you need a CT, we will definitely do it instead of saying, oh, we don't want to expose you unduly, we are afraid if you got, no, we'll still have to do the CT.
All right.
Nice.
We're almost out of time, but doctor, just before we let you leave the studio, we'd like to know what are the medical imaging technologies available at Evercare Hospital, and also, more importantly, what are the procedures they're used for?
Okay. Let me just start from the basic. Like I said, everybody knows X-ray. So we have X-ray. Of course, we have different type of X-ray at Evercare. We have the static, the mobile X-ray, and we have the C-arm. The C-arm is the one used in theater. The mobile one is the one you take to every part of the ward to image the body and the patient. Then we have ultrasound. We have ultrasound. We have CT, computed tomography. We have MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. We have SPECT, single photon emission tomography. Now that SPECT is actually something which is used to check for cancer spread in the body. If a patient has cancer, we want to see, oh, has it spread to all the other parts of the body? Some spread might be so minute. That is what SPECT does. It picks it as small as it can be. Of course, some other imaging modality might miss it because it's so small. But once you use SPECT, you pick it easily. We have all that at Evercare. Okay. We also have mammo. Mammogram is so important, especially for female patients above 40 years old. We recommend that you do a yearly mammogram. Okay. And next month is going to be a month for mammogram.
Cancer.
Yeah, exactly, for breast cancer.
Month.
So I think you should be ready for that.
All right.
Wonderful conversation here we've been having about radiology and just medical imaging and its role that it plays in medicine today. And if you're just joining us, we have Dr. Abidoye join us live right here inside the studio from Evercare Hospital to join the conversation. So if you've missed it, remember that we're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, the videos are going to be on there for you to catch it live. It's on our YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/smooth981. But doctor, how can our listeners and ourselves get in touch with Evercare Hospital?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. If you want to get us, we are at Admiralty Road. Okay, so you could always come any time of the day. We run a 24/7 services, which means you can come anytime. Our doors are always open. If you come in the night, the emergency doctor will see you. If you come in the day doctor will see you. So any day we got you covered.
How about the phone numbers and also the emails? And how can the regular layman see you, reach out to you?
Okay, for our website, you could visit www.evercare.ng. Then our telephone number is 081 3985 0710. Let me take that again.
Okay.
081 3985 0710. Then for our email, info@evercare.ng. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Remember to check Evercare Hospital. It's number 1 Admiralty Way, Bisola Durotimi Eti Drive. That's
beside Lekki Peninsula Scheme
Yeah,
1.
just Lekki Phase 1 there. When you get in the big building first, that's number 1 Admiralty Way /Bisola Durotimi Eti Drive. Also, the website is www.evercarehospital.com.ng. I beg your pardon. That's www.evercare.ng. Call them up on 0813-985-0710. That's 0813-985-0710. Email them. It's info@evercare.ng. Again, info@evercare.ng. Doctor, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Lagos, well, there's more to come. This is still Smooth 98.1. Stay with us. We're here with you all the way till 9. Thank God it's almost Friday. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, thank God it's almost Friday, Thursday.
Thank God it's almost Friday, Thursday.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
Stay with us, okay? This is Smooth 98.1.
Smooth Health on the Drive.
It's a global observation that helps raise people's awareness.
Every Thursday at 5:15 p.m.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Powered by Evercare Hospital, Lekki. Transforming healthcare in Nigeria.